Ryan versus Tank. You know, everybody's talking about that fight.
You got to favor Tank in that. I mean, it's not a gimme fight for either guy, but you got to favor Tank based on the experience, the better opposition, and the punching power of Tank and his boxing ability. But, you know, Ryan is explosive, extremely fast, and Tank is going to have to contend with that, and that's going to give Tank some trouble early until he catches up. The question for Ryan Garcia is, can he take the punch? When Gervonta lands, can he take that, keep his composure, and keep trying to, you know, execute his game plan? If he does that, he got a shot, but it's not going to be easy for either guy.
Gotcha.
And I don't think that fight goes the distance, no matter which way you swing.
I love the fact that Ryan fights tall,
Let him talk to more media. Okay.
which is going to be very interesting. But I think that, you know, whoever
Okay, guys,
makes the first mistake,
You guys gotta stop here.
you know,
guys
is
hold
obviously going to get the short end of the stick. But I see though Ryan and Tank want each other so bad. I think styles are going to go out the window and they're going to clash. That's all I see.
How do you look to you based on this last performance now coming into this Ryan fight? This last fight,
I have to give Ryan the advantage, not just because he's with Golden Boy, but look, Tank's a beast. He is. I mean, I remember a long time ago I said, man, don't fight Tank. Not just yet. Tank is a beast. I remember saying that at the StubHub. Yeah, when somebody asked me, and I said, you know what, this guy's a beast. So, but now I have to give Ryan the advantage because Ryan's a fighter who fights tall and throws that snap jab with the right hand, that check hook. I mean, if he catches Tank coming in, it's sayonara. It's goodbye. It's good night.
Did you see that him Tank being troubled with that in that fight?
Oh yeah. There's a lot of little,
All right, goes.
defects that I saw.
We can let them,
But he's still a beast.
Thank you.
What are your suggestions, man, on Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia?
Somebody call 911.
Is that so, man? Is that what it is?
Man, Tank Davis is a hell of a fighter, man. Ryan Garcia, he hasn't proved nothing. I mean, it's like he's the Jerry Cooley by day. And Jerry Cooley was a good fighter, but we made it to the big time when we fought at home. He fell miserably. You know what I'm saying? And this guy, hey, look, I may be wrong, but I don't think so. Garcia, he fast and he quick, but like I said, I haven't seen him against nobody.
Gervonta said that Ryan didn't have the dog in him.
Yeah, you know he don't have the dog in him. OG, you know he don't have the dog in him. I was like, we'll see.
Does that fight, I mean, it seems he's kind of said stuff like that before. Is that fight going to come down to toughness, or is it maybe a skill battle more, and maybe Tank thinking it's going to be a tough fight?
I don't think any fight comes down on this level that comes down to one thing. I think it's going to be all above. I think it's going to be, I think both guys are going to show whether they have it when it comes to toughness. I'm gonna say right now they both have it to get where they at now. Are they going to have it when both of them square up in weeks to come? I think they still going to show it. It's who's going to continue to proceed and also to display it, and also other skills that got to come with that. One particular style is not going to be the dominant in this fight. That's the key. I believe that most people should look at, if they wise enough to understand that that's going to be the difference in who win this fight or who lose this fight, is who do something different that we haven't seen or talked about. We know about the punch. We know about the punch. We know about the punch. We know about Tank's punch. We know about the punch. But let's talk about the all-around skills. See, these are the things that we don't necessarily, for good or bad reasons, like to talk about, because I think that it's boring to most people. But when you run into sometimes those fights of this magnitude and you see something that makes it part of history later, we never seen him do that before. Or we never knew he can do that. Those things that surprises one or the other, Ryan or Tank, will be the one in the difference between who wins and loses this fight.
With the
Okay, thank you.
rehydration clause,
I
real
need
quick, what does that say about the other side that they ask for a rehydration clause?
I'm glad you have one more question, because that is something that's need to be said or need to be responded to, and I think that the way I see it is when you have a rehydration clause, it's showing that Tank is worried under the disguise of I'm not worried. When you make the weight, basically, I look at it as you made the damn weight. Now, when you gotta say, well, I know you made the weight, but I want you to weigh this 4 hours later, you need to weigh this 24 hours later, now it becomes something else. What advantages you looking for? Well, Bernard, fair game. You know, you do this. No. You know what fair game is? You get on the scale. We fight at 160 for my undisputed middleweight championship. You get on the scale, and I get on the scale, and we make that weight. That's the weight we agreed to. But now when you start saying to make this fight happen, for you to make this fight happen, and I want to prove my greatness, because I believe I'm already great. That's what Tank is saying, really. This is just certified, stamp of approval. Then I wouldn't be worrying about too much how much you weigh. I just want you to weigh what you agreed upon, and now we can go ahead and fight. I don't want any excuses that you had to cut this weight, you had to weigh this 24 hours, you get another weigh-in to make sure you didn't rehydrate up to whatever you rehydrate up to. Because to me, the weight doesn't make you better than me. The weight doesn't make you less better than me. The weight just means you're gonna be a fat Tank, big, and I'm gonna beat you up even more. That's how I think. I'm old school. But I believe when people see this interview, they will see that I'm not bashing one guy, another guy. I'm just telling you from a mental mind game, think I'm getting advantage mentality of certain people that want the fight or forced to answer the call. In this case is the second one. To answer the call, I'm going to put all these incentives so you will say no to it, and then I can go somewhere else. So now when you have these things called concessions, and you're not checking them off saying, well, I'm definitely not going to do that. Ryan didn't do that. See, nobody's interviewing on, Ryan gave up a lot of stuff that, hey, he really didn't have to give up. Why do you think he done that? He dared to be great. We talk it. We might even fantasize about it. But how many people really mean it? Now we're going to see.
Ryan and Tank. Give me the real, Tim. What's the real on that fight, Ryan and Tank?
It's honestly going to be about Ryan controlling his emotions. There's going to be a ton of pressure put on him. By the way, I like the fact that Ryan is now running towards the fire as opposed to running away from it. I mean, that's what he needed to do in the beginning. When he was going through, depression and so on and so forth and anxiety. It's because the pressure becomes unbearable. And instead of trying to hide from it, you run to it, and that's what he did. Speaking out about it, it emboldened him. And now he wants this fight because he wants to prove to himself and prove to the world that, he is a talented fighter, that he is a great fighter. So moving forward, let's talk X and O's. I mean, Ryan has a really good left hook. We all know that. We all know he has a great left hook.
Well, Tank kept saying that's all he has when they were at the press conference.
Yeah. I mean, he depends upon it a hell of a lot. But, it's a tool that he's really good at throwing. It really is. It's like you still got to prepare for it. Tank, I know it's probably the only shot, but you still got to prepare for it. And, Garcia is a guy that's still growing, so he can add new things to his craft. He can add, new things to his tool bag. So, and working with Goosen is not stupid. He's been around the game a long time. He knows that he's gonna have to have his fighter ready more than just on the left hook. The right hand is gonna be have to be effective as well. And I think the last time I saw Garcia in the ring, his right hand did get better. He wasn't lunging with it. He was snapping it out from out of the distance. Um, the only thing is that I have with Garcia is honestly is that he's straight up and down most of the time. He's a big target. Tank is the type of fighter that doesn't mind fighting big targets. Tank doesn't like guys that are shorter than he is and like to get underneath him. Tank likes to be the guy reaching up. He's always been that guy his whole career. He doesn't really have a whole lot of problems with guys that have size. Now, Tank also likes guys that like to come out fast. He doesn't mind that. He'll play defense for a little while. He'll play possum. He'll allow you to get comfortable. And if Garcia, if he can mature, if he can mature in the fight and not rush and be patient and let the fight kind of develop in itself, in its own rhythm, then he'll be able to hold his own and he won't get caught with the big shot. But if he's forcing things and trying to force this and trying to force that, like I suddenly see him do all the time in his fights, trying to force things all the time, running red lights, trying to force this, trying to force that, then he gonna get stuck and gonna get knocked the heck out. He gonna get knocked out. Get knocked the heck out. So controlling his emotions is key. Keeping his distance on the outside, keeping the fight in the center of the ring is key for Garcia if he's gonna win this fight. He's not gonna win. He's not gonna win the dog fight, and he's not gonna win. He's not gonna win the, let's say, he's not gonna win the boxing match either. So this is what he needs to do. Because I'm kind of like, it almost seems like I'm contradicting myself, but I'm not. So I can explain this. So you can box and you can stay in the center of the ring and you can kind of draw that line and say like, I'm not gonna bag up. I'm not gonna bag up. I'm gonna be right here. I'm gonna be right here for you to try to hit me. I'll step back when I need to, but I'll be right here. I don't need to necessarily go look for you. I just need you to do a little bit of work for me until I can work. Okay. And then when you're not working, okay, I'll use my jab. I'll keep my distance out of range, and I'll win the fight that way at those moments. I'll win the fight just by control.
You, like they call it.
Yes.
Take what the defense gives.
Yes. Because we know that Tank is not a guy that has the best defense in the world. He can be hit, and we know that he can be outboxed, but it doesn't require you to constantly move your feet. That's what I'm trying to get at. He don't have to move his feet around. Tank's gonna be the one that had to move his feet around. Tank's gonna have to try to find different angles. He's a smaller guy, and if Garcia can do that, man, make the fight somewhat boring, he has a chance of winning this fight, man. No points. But Tank, I don't know. I just feel that like it's hard to not bet on Tank. And I know like people say, well, you said you hope he gets knocked out. I still do. Like that was all like because of personal reasons. You know what I'm saying? That was all personal reasons about that, about the women, mistreating women. But as far as like just the game itself,
boxing
and knowing boxing, yeah, it's hard not to bet on Tank because he can just do so much more than Ryan Garcia at this point. Has so much seasoning, unlike the younger, Ryan, man. So much more.
Never been in a title fight, and Tank's been in a number of them, against, guys that are veterans, that some of them are tall like Barrios, and yeah.
And Barrios was boxing well until he wasn't. And Tank can come look for you too. He can hunt you down too. So, Tank can move. He moves a lot better. He cuts off the ring a lot better than Ryan. I mean, Tank. There's not just one side to Tank. He can do multiple things. So, I would favor him in the fight. Like I said, I hope Garcia knocks him the hell out. I still feel that way, but I highly doubt it, man. Highly doubt it. But anything is possible. So we'll see.
But it sounds like you actually agree with what Tank was saying at the presser. He said, you know, you're not a complete fighter, and I am. You know, and
At this point, he's Garcia isn't at this point. He isn't a complete fighter. Talented fighter, extremely talented. We got a ton of skill, but he's gifted. He's definitely somewhat athletically gifted, but he how the old time would say, boy, you still wet behind the ears. He's still wet, he's still wet behind the ears, man. Like I respect him for taking the challenge, but I just feel like he's not at his absolute prime yet, where you have Tank that's in his absolute prime that has shown us that, even being hurt, that he can dig deep. Even fighting against big, tall guys that are winning on points. You can go back to Rolly when he was fighting Rolly. Same thing, coming from, bouncing back, coming from behind. And so my thing came out.
Oh, you good. There we go.
And coming from behind and catching him with the kill shot. Tank has that patience. He can do that. Tank has that ring knowledge. You gain it over time. A guy like Garcia doesn't have that yet. He hasn't developed that yet, man. Like, know when to step on the gas, when not to. Know when to rest. Know when to press forward, know when to box. He doesn't have that. And then he can't fight the inside either. He don't know how to fight the inside, bro. Like, he still got a lot to learn, man. Whereas Tank can fight the inside. He can box. Good power. He can be a counterpuncher. There's a lot to Tank. So I'm gonna say Tank by knockout late. I see him winning by knockout.
Yeah. Although Garcia does got the things that God either gives you or they don't: size, speed, power. And then lastly, yeah,
size, speed, but some guys like him, like a bigger target. Tank is that guy. You have that size, sometimes it can come to your disadvantage.
Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis. What are your thoughts on that fight?
I think it's a good fight, but I think that Davis has too many tools for Garcia.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. I mean, Garcia is a great left hook, and if he lands the left hook, he can win the fight. So that's a good fight.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have Tank in the best shape of his life, and just know, when he hit that boy, he ain't gonna wake up until next year.
Damn.